guys, Prowl 1701, and today we're looking at a Target novel, and we're looking at the novelization of The Ribos Operation, which is by Ian Marter, our own Harry Sullivan. This, of course, was a fantastic read, probably one of the many books that has been sent to me by the Flyattractor, which I really appreciate. Now, this one doesn't really deviate from the TV episodes very much, to be honest. It's pretty much the same, a couple little nitpicks. Most of them I don't care for as much as the TV version. Shellack's character is a little darker, a little more like the Graf Vindicay. You know, the Graf Vindicay is very sadistic in a way, cruel, mean, while thinking he's virtuous. And Shellack's a little more crueler and meaner like that in the novelization as well, which I don't care for. I kind of like Shellack the way he is in the TV episode, where he strikes me as possibly, I don't want to say noble, but it feels like he follows the Graf Vindicay maybe out of some sense of loyalty. Maybe he was, you know, a soldier for the family. Maybe he was a soldier for the Graf's father, and he stays with the Graf just out of family loyalty. See, I like that headcanon, to where he's not as bad a person as the Graf Vindicay. And where in the novelization, that little bit of tweak makes it different. I do enjoy in the novel, there's one part when, what is his name? Gowron. Is that his name? Gowron? I forget. The kind of chubby thief guy. Gowron? I can't remember his name. I'm bad with names. When he's kind of losing his train of thought and he's incidentally looking at where the listening device is, and even Shellack's like, "What are you looking at?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." It makes sense later when the Graf Vindicay does find it, just like in the TV episode. He knows immediately who put it there, because you had that little bit of foreshadowing with him getting caught, kind of letting his eyes wander to where it was hidden. I did enjoy that a little. That was a nice little add-on. Other than that, there is the rare instances with dialogue is slightly different. I mean, it pretty much comes across to be the same thing, but the dialogue is slightly different. I mean, we still have the scene when Gowron and the doctor are talking, and he's figuring out that, you know, Gowron is the thief and la 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 la. And he talks about why he had to leave Earth. And, well, he wanted me to throw in the Brooklyn Bridge for free. And, well, I admit, that's still in the book. But the bit when he's like, "Oh, you don't sell mines?" "No, doctor, I sell planets." While it still kind of does that, it's done in a different way, and the tone of it doesn't quite work as good as in the episode. I love it. I think part of what sells the episode so more is the performances, is the actors playing these characters. Because the writing is still good in the novelization, just like it is in the original story. I mean, the original story is Bob Holmes, after all. So Bob writes good dialogue. Most of y'all know that. But it's seeing the actors performing these characters is so much of this story. I like the look of this story as well. One thing I liked better in the novelization is, for some reason, I had forgotten what the Graf and his bad guys, his bodyguards, what their weapons looked like until, like, I was mostly through the story for some reason. And so the way I mentally pictured their little staff weapons looking from the way it's described in the books, to me, does look a little cooler maybe than they looked in the episode. Also, the fortune teller woman, the soothsayer, or whatever she's called, her death is a little different in the book too, which is interesting. I don't really have a preference either way, but it is different, and that is interesting. But for the most part, the novelization basically follows the TV version, to the point to where when I was reading the novelization, I was basically just running the TV episode through my head. Mostly. With a few odd little tweaks here and there, it was mostly just the TV episode, you know, like having a mental projector in my head, running that in my head. Because I've seen that episode a lot. I like the Ribos Operation. It's one of my favorite stories from season 16. Probably my second favorite after Pirate Planet. But it was a great read if you're in a situation when you needed to kill time, which is kind of what I was when I took this with me. I had actually taken my car into the shop. It had just hit 100,000 miles, so I was doing, you know, spark plugs, wires, brake fluid change, power steering fluid change. I was having I think one of my coals was misfiring slightly. So I went ahead and had them change that out. So while I was waiting for them to do that, I just took a book to read with me. They're like, "You just gonna sit and wait with it?" Yeah, that's fine. I just took my Switch, took Ribos Operation, and I was fine. I just read that the whole time, and read on the phone, answer some comments from you guys. And it really served its purpose of just killing time. It was a good read. But again, it just doesn't really differentiate itself from its TV counterpart, like some of the stories do, like The Massacre, for example, which is way different beast, like way a different beast. This you can pretty much, for the most part, just run the TV episode in your head. Now, between the two, I prefer the TV episode. Again, mainly just because I like watching the performances. I love Tom Baker as the Doctor. I really like most of the guest cast in this. The guy playing Usopp doesn't really do much for me. But for the most part, I enjoy the rest of the cast and find the story really well written with some great dialogue, again, as Bob does. And I very much always enjoy going back and rewatching. I've watched the Ribos Operation several times. But I could see myself, again, in a pinch, if I was just killing some time, having some car work done or something, that I could have this and just read through it and be just fine. So the Ribos Operation, a good novelization, not much difference than the TV version, but I do prefer the TV version over it because I just love the performances. Have you read it? What do you think of this story as a whole, the TV version and the novelization? Both comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. All the other fun things down in the description, links to the Patreon, the Amazon wishlist, the Amazon UK wishlist, the P.O. Box, all that fun stuff's down there. If there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, I want to give a shout out to Colin Coney, one of my top tier patrons, because I do appreciate his support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. And most importantly, thank you for watching.